The Great Hall of the Galactic Union was silent. Thousands of representatives from hundreds of species sat in their designated seats. The massive dome above them showed the stars of the galaxy. Today was an important day. Today, the Union would decide the fate of humanity. Ambassador Vance stood alone at the center platform. She was a tall woman with silver hair and calm eyes. Behind her, the holographic symbol of Earth rotated slowly. She had been the voice of humanity in this chamber for 15 years. She had fought for her people. She had argued. She had negotiated. But today, she already knew the outcome. High Chancellor, a being made of crystalline structures that shifted colors with his emotions, raised his appendage for attention. His body glowed orange, a sign of satisfaction among his kind. "The vote has been counted," announced. His voice echoed through the chamber. By a margin of 742 to 116, with 53 abstentions, the Galactic Union has decided. Earth and its human inhabitants are hereby removed from Union membership. All benefits, protections, and trade agreements are terminated immediately. A wave of whispers moved through the crowd. Some species showed relief, others showed nothing at all. A few looked uncomfortable. Stood completely still. Her face showed no emotion. She had expected this for months. The signs were everywhere. The closed meetings that humans were not invited to. The sudden cancellation of joint research projects. The trade ships that stopped coming to Earth stations. The accusations that grew louder each year. Humans were too aggressive, they said. Humans expanded too fast. Humans asked too many questions. Humans did not respect the old ways. Humans were dangerous. The truth was simpler. Humanity had joined the Union only 80 years ago. In that time, they had advanced further than species that had been members for thousands of years. They had solved problems that others could not. They had built things that others would not. They had looked at the stars and seen possibilities instead of limits. This made the old powers nervous. Ambassador Vance said, his crystals now glowing a calm blue. "You may speak before the final record is sealed." Looked around the chamber slowly. She looked at the delegation, whose ships had fired on human colonies twice in the past decade. She looked at the council, who had blocked human access to advanced medical technology that could have saved millions of lives. She looked at the Dominion, whose representatives had called humans dangerous animals in public broadcasts. She also looked at the gentle beings who had voted against the removal. She looked at the Horizon Collective, young species like humanity who had shown support. She nodded to them slightly. Then she spoke. "I will not beg," said. Her voice was steady and clear. "I will not argue. I will not ask you to reconsider. You have made your choice and we accept it." She paused and looked directly at. "But I want this moment recorded clearly. Earth did not ask to join the Union. The Union came to us. You found us. You invited us. You told us we would be part of something greater. For 80 years we believed you." She began walking around the platform, her footsteps echoing. "We shared our food with species that could not grow enough. We shared our medicine with worlds suffering from plague. We sent our engineers to build infrastructure on planets that asked for help. We sent our soldiers to defend Union borders against threats that were not our own." Her voice grew harder. "And what did we receive? Restrictions on our growth, limits on our research, taxes on our trade that were higher than any other member, insults in your media, lies in your schools. Your children were taught to fear humans before they ever met one." The chamber was completely silent now. "So yes," continued, "we accept your decision, but understand this clearly. You are not removing us. You are releasing us." She stopped walking and faced the full assembly. "From this moment forward, humanity answers to no one but itself. We will not ask permission to explore. We will not limit our science because it makes you uncomfortable. We will not slow down so that your ancient empires can feel superior." She turned to leave the platform, then stopped. "One last thing. Do not contact us asking for help when you need it. Do not send ships to our territory. Do not expect mercy if you threaten our people. You wanted humans gone from your galaxy. Congratulations, you got your wish. Walked out of the Great Hall without looking back, not once. The news spread across human space within hours. There was anger at first. There were protests. Some called for war, some called for revenge. The governments of Earth and its colonies held emergency meetings. But then something unexpected happened. The anger became determination. The hurt became motivation. Humanity had spent 80 years trying to fit into a galaxy that did not want them. Now they were free to be themselves. The first major change came within 6 months. Without Union restrictions, human scientists completed research that had been blocked for decades. They developed new power sources that made their ships faster than anything the Union had. They created medical treatments that could extend human life by centuries. They built communication systems that worked across greater distances than anyone thought possible. Within 2 years, humans discovered a method of faster-than-light travel that the Union had never achieved. The old warp corridors that connected Union space were slow and controlled. Human ships could now go anywhere, anytime. The galaxy was no longer a network of approved routes. It was an open ocean. Humanity expanded in all directions. They found worlds the Union had never explored. They discovered resources the Union did not know existed. They built colonies that became cities that became nations that became powers of their own. But perhaps the most surprising change was in human culture itself. Free from the constant judgment of the Union, humanity became more united. The old rivalries between Earth nations faded. The colonies stopped fighting over territory. A new identity emerged. They were not Americans or Chinese or Brazilian or African anymore. They were human. That was enough. 30 years passed. The Galactic Union began to struggle. Without human innovation driving progress, advancement slowed. Without human trade, economies weakened. Without human soldiers helping defend borders, enemies grew bolder. The Empire faced invasion from outside species and lost 3 systems. The Council experienced a plague they could not cure. The Dominion fell into civil war when their economy collapsed. Meanwhile, humanity thrived. Human space was now twice the size of Union territory. Human technology had advanced beyond anything the galaxy had seen. Human populations had grown to numbers that made the old powers nervous again, but this time there was nothing they could do about it. Ambassador Vance, now 112 years old thanks to human life extension technology, received a message one day. It was from High Chancellor. His crystals were no longer orange with satisfaction. They were gray with desperation. Ambassador Vance, his recorded message said, the Galactic Union formally requests, we humbly ask, if humanity would consider. Stop the message, she had heard enough. She looked out the window of her residence on New Terra, the capital world of human space. Below her, a city of 50 million people stretched to the horizon. Ships moved through the sky like rivers of light. Children played in parks filled with trees from a dozen worlds. Humans and the few alien species who had left the Union to join them lived together in peace. She thought about the Great Hall. She thought about standing alone while the galaxy voted against her people. She thought about walking out without looking back. She deleted the message without responding. 3 months later, the Union sent a formal delegation to human space. They came in ships that were now outdated compared to human vessels. They came with gifts that were worthless compared to human wealth. They came with words that were empty compared to their past actions. The delegation was met by a human committee. Not, she had refused to participate. The committee was polite but firm. Humanity is not interested in rejoining the Galactic Union, the committee leader said. We are not interested in alliance. We are not interested in trade agreements that benefit you more than us. We remember what happened. We will never forget. The representative whose species had fired on human colonies spoke up. "Surely we can discuss compensation. We can make amends. We can." "You had 80 years to treat us fairly," the human interrupted. "You chose not to. That choice has consequences. We are those consequences." The delegation left with nothing. Years continued to pass. The gap between human civilization and the rest of the galaxy grew wider. Humanity developed artificial intelligence that could think alongside them. They created habitats that could support billions in deep space. They reached other galaxies and found them empty of intelligent life, waiting to be explored. Some Union species began leaving their own governments to live in human space. They were among the first. They had always been friends to humanity, and humans welcomed them warmly. Others followed. The galaxy was slowly changing, not through war but through example. 100 years after the vote, a historian from the council wrote a famous book. It was titled "The Greatest Mistake: How the Galaxy Created Its Own Replacement." The book became required reading in many Union schools. It was already too late. Vance lived to be 234 years old. On her final day, she sat in a garden on New Terra, surrounded by her children and generations beyond. A young girl, her great-great-granddaughter, sat beside her. "Grandmother," the girl said, "tell me again about the vote." Smiled. Her eyes were still calm after all these years. "The galaxy voted to remove us," she said. "They thought they were punishing us. They thought we would suffer. They thought we would beg to come back." "But we didn't," the girl said. "No," agreed. "We walked away. We built something better. We became something more, and we never looked back, not once." She closed her eyes for the last time, still smiling. Humanity continued forward. They always had. They always would. The galaxy had made its choice, and humanity had made theirs. History would remember which choice was wiser. The stars belonged to those who had the courage to reach for them. Humanity had always understood this truth. The galaxy learned it too late. And somewhere in the great hall of the diminished Galactic Union, the seat where Earth's ambassador once stood remained empty, a reminder of what was lost, a monument to a mistake that could never be undone. Humanity was gone from their galaxy, and they were never coming back.